So the number 2 crew member, this person seeks to do the impossible through mastery.
That could be the both of them. Hello and welcome to a very special episode of Will of the Scry. We are taking a slight break from our normal reactions to the episodes to do a special tier list. In this maker, we are going to be ranking the crew members 1 through 7 based on Scryerman's experience and feelings towards each of the members thus far.
Now that we're at Skypiea, I finally have enough information that I feel I can confidently rank the members where I think they're probably going, where I think they're going to end up a couple hundred episodes from now. You never know.
So you can see here we have a tier maker and we have our boxes 1 through 7, and then we have a couple pictures of the crew member here. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go from descending order, Scryerman's least favorite crew member, all the way up to his favorite member, and he's going to list out bullet points as to why he's placing such and such where, and I am here to potentially debate him, of course within the bounds of non-spoilers or saying any moments in the future that may adhere or change his list. But with that being said, let's get going.
Starting with number 7, Kirk, I think you already know who my number 7 is. So if you could move Usopp over to the E tier.
Oh, okay. That hurts my heart.
So here's what I'm gonna say about Usopp and why he's down there. There's a couple redeeming qualities. I think Usopp has the most wasted potential so far, in that he shows very promising glimpses of greatness, potentially greater than any other crew member, and I'm always disappointed, either directly or indirectly. His greatest moment in my eyes was inventing Nami's weapon.
See, people lean on him.
They made him look really like scientific, and I'm showing him looking like a genius scientist, and then he couldn't even write proper instructions for it. It almost gets a crewmate killed. I know you really liked his backstory, and it was cool. It was a cool villain. I think the villain overshadowed his story there, where I just didn't take anything away. I thought, okay, here's a cool evil Wolverine. Usopp getting stabbed, I think, was one of the most intense moments.
All your Usopp moments are Nami moments, which is what's bothering me right now.
And those are the only things I attribute as positives to Usopp. Okay, but I will say that I think I would ultimately miss him, I'll admit, because I love to hate him. We need more scientist Usopp. And I think I might come around a little bit more.
Cool. So a couple things on that, and then we'll move on to number 6, and I'll make this quick. 1, I think everyone in the show who's watched all of the backstories knows that Usopp's is the worst. The only thing about his backstory that has going for him is that his dad is in Shanks' crew, and you know that he was left as a child because his dad went off to become a great pirate, as we know now. And then the other thing is I am a little bit of a sucker for the whole he has his girl back home and he's becoming an actual man out at sea and everything, and eventually, he'll return to her. So I like that stuff. Plus also the lies. This is like a little hidden thing about Usopp that people who love him as much as I do just kind of notice. All his lies kind of come true over the series,
Okay.
So there's some cool things about it where it's almost like he's like a prophet versus a liar.
Fakes it till he makes it.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Okay.
But man, what about, when he gets batted in the face by Mr. 4? Oh my god. Oh!
Oh, what?
You were into that scene.
I'm glad you reminded me, because you're right. what took away a little bit from me is because what I loved after that was the Chopper Usopp relationship, and I thought, oh,
Mm-hmm.
that's like cute. That's a great pairing. But then Chopper started just like simping for everyone, like just like trying to latch on to like whoever walked by. So again, it's that positive attribute was because it was tied to Chopper, and then
Yep.
once I realized it was so fickle. All right, moving to number 6, Sanji.
Oh, see, that's a little surprising.
Yeah, he started off as probably number 2, and he fought for number 1 for a while. I think his character just got like flanderized to the point where he's just like a meme. He's like Rock off Pokemon, where he starts off as this badass, mysterious gym trader who's pretty formidable and has a cool backstory. And then you just know exactly what to expect from him at a certain point after. If we had separated him and Mr. Prince and the Sanji who broke the necks of those agents, and then yeah, if those were separate characters, he would be my number 1. Mr. Prince would be number 1.
And I get that, and I think all your points are fair on the simping side. But Sanji is very known, and you'll see, like, you've already seen a number of moments, but you'll continue to see moments where he really is, like, the most clutch. Like, he comes in, and he dons this persona of Mr. Prince, you know? So I like that you almost, like, separate church and state within those two personalities. However, they are one person, so you do have to account for all of it.
If he'd be number 1 if it wasn't for the other Sanji nonsense. We're gonna move on to number 5. All right, he's sitting down. Number 5 is Monkey D. Luffy. And I considered putting him under Sanji. Here's my reasoning. So what I love about Luffy is his persistence and optimism. I think it's only matched by one other character. Back to your point about Usopp and his signs of bravery and his premonitions. I think him and Luffy share that as well. However, I think that like Usopp, if Luffy didn't have his devil fruit power, he would have died a long time ago. He follows through with things that he can only accomplish because he's powerful.
You have so much to learn.
He's also super compassionate, but he's also often like a psychopath. So he goes from like trying to better and take down evil while also casually just wrecking people's livelihoods in his wake. But I also think that Luffy has potential to be in my top 3 or 4 in a little while. I think his backstory has huge potential. I think I know the least about him so far as a character
by design.
But it's my current rankings. I will say his best moments for me was definitely the crocodile arc, because it was just so badass. I'm getting stabbed in the gut. And then he still goes and kicks ass, so it's the most impressive thing in the show for sure.
What about Bellamy? But the
so
same.
Good.
So for this one, I'm not even gonna debate this one. This one will just unfold. I wouldn't be able to debate it any more than the show could itself for me. So I will fight you on all the other placements, but for Luffy, you just got to keep watching.
And like I said, Usopp has the most wasted potential, but Luffy has the most potential because I don't think Luffy wastes any potential. He uses all the potential he has because he wants to be the king of the pirates. He wants to be the best. So respect all that. I think he's going to grow on me more.
I think one thing that I do want to add is I think, and we talked about this at the beginning of the series, is like, and I agreed with you, any kind of stretching powers like Miss Incredible and Fantastic Four, like all that stuff, like it's just not a very sexy power. And you'll see how Luffy adapts and evolves it to extremes that you wouldn't be able to like comprehend, you know? And I think that will help a lot too.
Well, and yeah, we've seen a lot of those with the different moves and stuff. That've been really cool. Like the fireworks one that they showed recently was really cool. And Luffy, again, to give him some more credit, because I do really like the character. I like all the characters except Usopp. He's got just another 900 episodes to make me love him. Because I care about his story. I'm just not as invested as the ones higher on my list.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4, new addition. So as far as I know, Nico Robin is a Vivi at the moment, and I would actually rate them on the same tier. Different reasons. Really, I just like her design and the sense of humor. Did they establish that Luffy's stronger than her?
Yeah, I mean,
State
he beat Crocodile, you know, and
Right.
she instantly fell to Crocodile. So she's super powerful. It's just, you know, Luffy is definitely a different tier, and Zoro as well. If personally, like at this point in the story, if I were to rate them, I'd probably go Luffy, Zoro, Robin, and then the rest of the crew. She might even be stronger. Maybe Sanji higher than her. I don't know. Probably.
Really?
No, I
Okay.
think Robin could beat Sanji realistically.
Okay. Right. And part of what gives her like potentially an undeserved higher spot is just that I don't know as much about her either. I think
Mm.
I'm just really interested to see where her allegiances lie, where her power ends up going. What she maybe it's not even because she's very like smart and like she survived working for Crocodile. So I guess I'm just really curious to see, and I feel like her story is gonna wrap up before the end of the crew. So I think again, part of that's just I'm anticipating seeing what happens with her, and that curiosity is driving her up my list. Cool character. That's pretty much it. Just a cool character.
For the record, I think this is the only spot where we agree on a character. I would have
Oh
Robin
really?
fourth as well. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I think we might have like a flipped list. I don't know. So number 3, I love Chopper. I wanted him to be higher on the list.
I wasn't sure if
Had
you were
him,
gonna put him. I didn't know where you were
I had
gonna
him
flip
number
Nami
2.
and
I think I
Chopper.
had him number 1 at some point.
Yeah.
But when I was writing out my points, I just thought, you know what? I love Chopper. I feel like he has room to get higher on my list. And that's why I was okay with putting him lower. So I love Chopper because he's innocent and he's full of adventurous spirit. He's always so like wide-eyed when they go anywhere. Even though he came from, at least at the end of the arc, the most beautiful place I think so far in the show. He's seen one of the most beautiful sights on the Grand Line, and he's still amazed by everything he sees because he's not like the others. He hasn't been off the island, right?
Right.
Even though everything's a new adventure for everyone and everyone's shocked by like new things, Chopper's always super excited or appreciative. Always makes me very happy. I like that he's very skilled, but he's still unsure of his abilities. I don't know what Chopper's feeling right now, though.
Here you go.
Because I think he knows he has a lot more to do, or he doesn't recognize how he can contribute. Because we've seen him fight a king, and then we've seen him like struggling just to get tools on the ship and being scared of being alone, right? Yeah, I'm hoping we see some really cool stuff out of him as he gets more confident. I feel like in like 300 episodes, he's gonna be like a super confident beast, you know? Or maybe more episodes than that, but at some point he's just going to be like a monster when he's fighting. So I'm looking forward to that a lot.
One thing that I really appreciated, because I think it's no secret for anyone who's been following my opinions, Chopper was always near the bottom for me. I always appreciate him as a character, but revisiting Drum Island with you, Scryerman, and rewatching his background and like fully grasping it, because I think as a kid when I was watching it on like Toonami, there were bits and pieces that just kind of went over my head, and like the whole thing with the mushroom and how he like fought the deers that would like bully and tried to kill him because he had a different colored nose, and then eventually ate the fruit and everything, and then came back like with that broken horn and like his eyes like beat up. That whole thing was really special for me the second time around. I know we didn't get it on video, and apologies to everyone who didn't get to see us, but like Scryerman and I were you know, like we were crying, you know, like that Sakura scene was really special.
俺が消えても俺の夢は叶う。全くいい人生だった。さあ、言っといて、バカ息子。
Yeah, it was really special. And the flag, his flag, anytime I even get a glimpse of it in the intermission cuts, it's probably the most powerful symbol in the show for me so far is Chopper's flag, if I had to pick one. Number 2. Remember, they all flipped a few times, but
Okay.
Here's what I'm thinking. So the number 2 crew member has the single attribute that I respect and admire the most.
No way.
From any other crew member is the number 2.
Okay.
The best quality.
Okay.
The number 2 crew member wants to become the best in a very specific way, in that they want to become a master, and they want to do that through technique and training. And
it could apply to the both of them.
No, but this person seeks to do the impossible through mastery.
That could be the both of them. You're like keeping on the edge of my seat. If you put who I think you're gonna put at number 2 right now, I'm gonna flip.
The number 2 person on the Straw Hat crew for me is the man who can cut through steel. That's Zoro. Zoro is my second favorite.
Wow. Give me your spiel. I'm shook. I was literally sitting there like, he better not.
So, first thing I love about Zoro is he gets lost like I do a lot. I need a GPS to even make it home from a place I've been 100 times. I love that. I love that that's his weakness. That's definitely my biggest weakness in life. I love that he's ruthless, but also in control. So, you know, he had a town try and rob and kill him, and he didn't think twice to just take every single one of them out indiscriminately. But he also is disciplined enough that he will stop on a dime at captain's orders and just make it work, whatever the half-baked thing Luffy shouts out. Yeah, I'm super curious to see what happens with him and that Marine and his backstory and the swords. My favorite attribute is that he learned to cut through steel.
Ooh, that look. He's not even hearing what he's saying. That's how zen he is right now.
He wants to do something, he'll learn to do it. Are you recovered yet? You okay?
No, this is another one. We just gotta keep going.
Alright. So the number 1, you already know, it's Nami. No arc will ever impact me as much as the Arlong arc. I know I said before, I don't know if it's fair that the arc biases how much I like the character, the arc they were introduced in. But, you know what? It was a great arc. She in my mind is the only member of the Straw Hat crew who would survive alone. If you put them all off in separate directions on the Grand Line alone, she would survive the longest. I guarantee it.
Under what jurisdiction?
She's got she's the most adaptive, cunning, and inventive. She'll find a way in or around any situation. She's got a lot of tools in her toolbox. And worst case, she'll control the weather. So I don't know. I think and again, I'm not saying that in a fight. In a fight with Zoro, she's dead in a second. Luffy, she's dead in half a second. Sanji dead. But in terms of if you set them all off with a day head start somewhere in the Grand Line to survive for as long as possible, Nami would survive the longest.
It's an interesting point. I don't agree with it, but I understand in theory where you're coming from. Actually, no, Robin. Robin would 100%. Robin is the epitome of everything you're saying about Nami, except times 10. She knows how to navigate. She has power. She's been surviving on her own already in the Grand Line for 25 years.
I still feel like Nami's still the better navigator, as far as I know.
Oh, for sure. She's a better navigator. The Grand Line is brand new to every single person here except for Robin.
Right.
Robin's been doing this for 20 years.
She was mapping at like 7, you know?
And surviving on her own since she was 8 years old, you know?
Yeah, they wrote them very similar, right? I still like Nami's, like, we had more time with Nami as well.
Of course, yeah, totally. I'm going to do a little switcheroo here to show what the tier list should be. I'm just kidding. It's all subjective. But if I were to do it, I'll do this really quickly. Yeah. So this is my tier list. It would be Luffy 1, Zoro 2.
Not surprised.
Usopp 3.
Okay.
Robin 4.
Mm-hmm.
Sanji 5.
Okay.
Nami 6.
Mm-hmm.
Chopper 7.
See, and that ranking makes me confident that Sanji is not going to go up too much in my list.
It is a good point, because I feel like Robin and Sanji could be flipped for me. Like, they're the only two that aren't set in stone, per se. Mm-hmm. But Luffy 1, Zoro 2, and Usopp 3 are like... And even like Zoro and Usopp, I swap back and forth with. I love Usopp as a character so much. It's just the moments for Zoro are unreal, you know? Like, he has too many moments you'll see in the future where you just can't, like, it's impossible not to have him at your top, you know? And then Luffy, the way I describe it is like, you can't even rank him. He is just so great, you know? Like, I almost like don't think of him usually in tier lists, so I put him 1 for official sakes. But for me, my favorite Straw Hat member would be Zoro on, you know? So this was fun. This was an interesting exercise. It's interesting to see how different your perspective is as, one, someone who's new watching the show for the first time versus me who've been following it my whole life, right? And then 2, where you rank them based on where it is in the series. And I'm very curious to see how this evolves, if it evolves throughout the next couple
that's
arcs.
What I'm thinking too. I'm like, I don't know who's... Again, the further we get away from Drum, if I'm seeing less of Chopper, right, in 300 episodes, I might not feel the same. We'll see.
Right. All right. That was a lot of fun. I think we should do more of these more often, and we'll have to do another tier list of this, of your crew rankings in, let's finish up this arc, and then let's do the arc after this, which is a very iconic one. Like, probably the biggest iconic one in the early series is the next arc. And it's actually a 2-part arc. Okay. It's like 2 arcs in one almost. So once we finish that up, we'll do a revisit of this and really see how you feel.
Sure.
Well, thank you for tuning in. We will catch you all next time. This is Will of the Scry.